Welcome back, coin roll hunters. Thanks for joining me, Matthew the Great, coin roll hunter. I just get a kick out of that. I'm sorry. Anyway, we are back for another coin roll hunt. I've got ourselves a roll of quarters out of this $500 box. This has been a epic coin roll hunt, and I appreciate you joining me on this journey. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing we do is we check the ends of the coin roll. We call these the enders. And it looks like we've got ourselves a territorial quarter on one end, and that's a state quarter. Which state is that? Rhode Island. So I like to check the enders because it's an opportunity to find obsolete coinage. Granted, the chances are pretty small, but your obsolete coinage are antique coins. They feature designs that you don't normally see in circulation. These are coins you're only going to find at like coin shops typically, but sometimes they find their way in circulation. Now these are going to include the very first state quarter, or the very first quarter of our country, the seated Liberty quarters, which are 1838 to 1891. Then there were the Liberty headquarters, which were 1892 to 1916. And my favorite, the standing Liberty quarters, which were 1916 to 1930. Now, they're going to have designs that do not feature George Washington. This is why they're called obsolete coinage, because we currently use the George Washington quarter, the Washington quarters, which you're probably more familiar with. But they do wind up in rolls. People are still finding these things. Typically, somebody cashes in grandma or grandpa's old coin collection, or maybe you've got kids and they've gotten into the attic and they found your coin collection from when you were a kid, and not realizing the value, they took it to the corner store and bought a soda or something. So lots of different ways for those old coins to wind up in these coin rolls. So none of those on the ends. So now we're going to continue our hunt for silver Washington quarters, as well as those obsolete quarters. I'm just going to get out of the way here, and we're going to tear into this roll. Now, the 90% silver composition of our earliest quarters is what makes these quarters so desirable. And starting from the very first Liberty seated quarter in 1838, these quarters have been made from 10% copper and 90% silver, right up until 1964, which is actually a Washington quarter. So I'm going to zoom in here, and we can usually spot these on the edges in these rolls, which is why I filleted it open. They're going to have smooth edges. The reading on the edge will typically be worn down, and the coin will appear solid and have a dark gray, light gray, kind of a milky color due to the corrosion of the silver composition of the coin. And it does not look like we've got any silver quarters. This looks like a solid coin here. And actually, that's just one of our, oh, there you go. It's one of our territory state quarters. Another cool series to collect. But on these newer quarters, I noticed that sometimes the light glares off of the sharp reading that's pretty fresh, and it makes it hard to see. It looks like the nickel actually wraps around the edge, but all right, no problem. There is still a lot of different things to look for in these quarter rolls besides silver quarters. So some of these are going to include coin errors and varieties. Now, what are those? Well, sometimes during the minting process, the die that presses the image into the coin's surface can crack or break completely. Sometimes it can, if it's loose, if the hub is loose where the die is connected to the stamping machine, you can get features that are called double dies, where it's kind of like the die bounces as it recoils off of the first press of the coin. And you get these really interesting doubling effects. So some of the states of the the 50 state quarters program I've selected, I've hand-picked a few that show these different types of coin errors. So here's one of them right now. This is the Arizona state quarter. And the feature that we look for in this one is called a die break. Now what's happened in the Arizona state quarter is that a die crack is formed from the high pressures that they mint these things from, and it is eventually broken a chunk out of the die, and the subsequent coins that were minted from that fill in that gap. And what it looks like is extra cactus leaves right here at the bottom of the coin. Below the saguaro cactus, you'll see looks like an extra cactus leaf. That'll cover up the artist's initials, and then a bigger one over the 2008 release date. Now I've covered this coin in an episode of Big Money. I'm going to leave a link below that one, but unfortunately this one is not showing that die error, so we'll just keep hunting. All right, so this is my birth year, 1983. If you see your state or your birth year come across the screen, shout it out in the comments below. If you've got a coin-related question, feel free to ask that as well. I love answering questions in the comments. So if you're new to the hobby, or you just have some sort of something that's bugging you that you want to know, like we're also birding in the 50 state quarters. Now, you can check that playlist. I'll leave a link below for that as well in the descriptions for this video, where we go through all of the birds in the 50 state quarters program as well. So lots of different things you can look for and learn about in the 50 state quarter program. And it's all part of the United States Mint's Artists Infusion program, making these quarters just a little bit more interesting, more artistic. This is your traditional George Washington variety quarter. You can see that even the bust got a redo here. Yeah, so lots of different things to look for. Now I'm just going to get out of the way so we can enjoy these coins a little bit better. Okay, so 1995. Now the one error coin that we have not covered on this show yet is actually a Kansas state quarter minted at the Philadelphia Mint. And what it is an example of the filled die variety. Now, I'm just going to put that on pause right now because we've come across another one of these opportunities for an error coin. Now, this is the Colorado state quarter. This one here was minted in Denver. And these quarters have a very famous coin error called a cud at the 3 o'clock position on the rim of the coin. So I cover this particular die error for this coin in this state in another episode of Big Money, so I'll leave a link below for that one as well. So we'll just continue on looking for our Philadelphia minted Kansas state quarter. And yeah, if you see your state, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you see your birthday, hit the thumbs up on the video too. It's very interactive when we do these coin roll hunts because you're seeing them in one take. I only get one take to do these things, so it's as close as being live as I can get right now until I figure out how to do that on my channel, I guess. But we got a few quarters left, Indiana, and our last one here. Okay, Harper's Ferry. So it doesn't look like we've got our Kansas Philadelphia minted Kansas state quarter, so we're going to continue hunting for that one. However, Big Money plays every other day with this show. And so what I'm going to cover on tomorrow's episode of Big Money, we haven't covered this one yet, but this is the original reverse design of the Washington state quarter. So before they started the 50 state quarters program and the actual Artist Infusion program. So thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed the show and you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss an episode. So until tomorrow, happy hunting.